This system can be operated on any Android smartphone or any Android tablet, linked to via Bluetooth to a printer, and you can even connect a cash drawer. Or you can just use the phone and the printer itself to do the entire system. When you first log into the AcePos JS version 3, you can either log in as a cashier or as a manager. Now the cashier is one who just do an operation, issue bills, and then collect money from the customer. So that's the job of a cashier. The manager will be the one who can set up all kinds of things inside the system, how to configure it, what are the tables you have, what are the items that you sell, what are the selling prices, and who are the cashiers, name and password, and then who can give discount, who can cancel bill or change unit price. So these are the setup that's done by manager. So for now, let's go in as cashier first. Enter the cashier's password. And then once you are in, if your password is correct, they'll ask you how much money are you putting inside the cash drawer for change. So let's say it's 200 ringgit, and then you start the session. So now you are inside the actual operation screen as a cashier. So to enter an order, first the cashier touch a table, add items, and then here you are, you have the different categories of things that you sell at your restaurant or cafe. So these are drinks, food, juices, coffee, tea, and so on. There can be multiple categories depending on how your manager set up a system. So let's say in this case, we order a drink. This customer order a Coca-Cola, add it to the Coca-Cola to the table. And then there's two guests. So second one order, let's say for example, a juice, touch on the juice. Let's say this person took an orange juice, add your juice. And then they order their food. So touch on the food. So let's say one had pizza, add to pizza. And then another one had the chicken pie, add to a chicken pie. And then you save. So now this table shows that is occupied. So go on to a second table. Let's say second table comes in and this person order coffee. Let's say 2 local coffee. So you put coffee, touch plus 2, add to a table. And then this person took food, 2 persons. So one took a roast lamb, add. Now roast lamb can have some options, add tomatoes, no chili and things like that. These are various things that you can set up. So let's say you want to add tomatoes, then add, and then maybe the other person took a chicken wing, for example, add, and then save. So second table is now occupied as well. Now if a person halfway through want to order some things, the cashier will just touch this table. Let's say table 1 want to order some more things. What do you want to order? I want to order juice. What do you want? I want a lime juice, add, and then save. So that goes to the table. Okay, so when they finish the meal and they call for a bill, you can select the table. Okay, let's say table 1 wants to collect the bill. You can press a print bill to print a bill to present for payment. Or if the person is standing at the counter, you don't need to print a bill to present the bill. You can straight away go to cashier. This is a cashier symbol, and then the total amount to charge and the service charge or SST and so on, everything will be calculated. And then how do the customer pay? Let's say simple, he pay by cash. How much cash you put in? Let's say if you give you the normal denomination of 10, 20 or 50 ringgit, you can just press this. Or if it's a special amount, let's say he give you 60, you can actually enter 60 here, right? Or maybe let's say the person gave you 45, right? Because the total bill comes to 43, so he give you 45, and then you say settle bill. Now before you press settle bill, if you want the receipt, you can press a receipt, provided this system is linked to a Bluetooth printer or any printer, then you print receipt. Or if the person say, I want to have an e-invoice, okay, this system is e-invoice ready, you just click this as well, and then you put settle bill, and the invoice or the e-invoice will be printed for the customer itself. That's how you settle a bill. Now there are other options. For example, let's say table 2 came in and wanted to add more things. All right, so let's say they want to add a passion fruit, and they ask for discount. Now, if the cashier has the power, has the password right to give discount, she can just tick on discount and then put in the amount here, how many percent discount or how much discount. Let's say instead of percent is giving 50 cents discount, you can put 50 cents and then you don't tick percentage, you tick the dollar. Okay, and if you don't enter a password, it means you don't have a right to give discount. So if you enter your password and your password allows you to give discount, then only the discount is valid. So add to table, you can see the price has changed. Now you can also give a discount by percentage. So let's say you order another thing, pink guava, and this time the discount, okay, you put in percent. Let's say you give say 10% discount, percent instead of ringgit. Enter the password. Once the password is correct, you can see the price has already changed, right? Based on the discount amount, become 585 in this case. Now there's also another option to change price. Let's say add items. This person added a coffee, a latte, and then person asked for discounted price. So you want to change the price. If the cashier has the power to change the price, you can click on change price. What is the new price? So instead of 5 ringgit, let's say it is 4 ringgit. You can put 4 ringgit, and then again enter your password to make sure that you have the power to give discount. If you key in the wrong password, for example, you try to add, you say not authorized to change price. So you have to put in your proper password before you can change the price to add inside. So to settle the bill, call the bill, let's say table 2. Then how do you settle? Is it payment by cash or by card or by e-wallet? Now if it's card, for example, in this case we have Amex, Visa and MasterCard. So select the correct card to pay, and then whether you want a receipt or whether you want an e-invoice. Then you click on settle bill. Now when you enter order, for example, this particular table ordered say a latte, it can be dine in or takeaway. You can actually choose. Alright, there's an option. So if it's a takeaway, just click on takeaway. And then maybe the food is eaten here. So let's say they wanted to have Chinese noodles and this one is dine in, you just add to the table, dine in is there. Alright, so later on when you settle the bill, okay, you can see the options here. You can see it's takeaway and dine in. So this is clearly written which one is dine in. Then you settle the bill. All right, how much is the bill? And then if you pay, for example, by e-wallet, Touch and Go or Grab Pay or Boost Pay, so let's say Touch and Go, print receipt, never ask for e-invoice, no need to take this. Ask for e-invoice, you take, and then you settle the bill. Now there are other functions under, for example, table. You can actually change table. That means when the customer say, hey, I'm shifting table, maybe I met my friend something, you can change table. From this table 01, for example, maybe I go to table 4. Change table, select a new table. So now you see the table 4 has all the products of the earlier order. Now you can also split table. Let's say 2 person comes in this case, and then they want to split the bill. So you can select, for example, this first person, Coca-Cola and chicken pie is mine. I select table, I shift it back to, say, for example, table 5. Okay, and I split the table. So now if you look at the two tables, table 4 has got 2 items, and then table 5 would have the other 2 items already split, divided the bill to the 2 persons. Now what happens if the customer asks for e-invoice? Now the e-invoice printed will have a QR code you can see here. So the customer is supposed to use his smartphone and scan this QR code, which will bring him to a website which we have prepared for him to input all his details that is necessary for the submission of the e-invoice. So the customer will have to scan, use a smartphone, go in there. This will bring him to a website. So you have to key in. If it's an individual, you can choose NRIC. Company, you choose BRN. There are choices here. Then you key in your, usually it's individual, and then you key in all your NRIC, key in your name, key in your address. These are the information needed for the submission of e-invoice, you see. So this person have to go and key in all these themselves. Once this is in, the system will automatically know to submit as e-invoice for the person. Okay, these are the information needed. Which state, what postcode, what is the contact phone number, and then email address. Then click on submit button and then wait. The submission is immediate. So depending on whether the connectivity of the internet to the LHDN server is okay or not, so the submission can be successful or not successful. Successful, you will ask you to download the invoice like this in this case. If it's not successful, they will ask you to enter and try again. You see? So you can scan this, it will show you the actual e-invoice in the income tax server. So these are the basic cashier function. At the end of the shift, when the shift ends, the person will exit. Do you want to end this session? You say yes, and that's it. And the summary of the total receipt by the this particular cashier will be printed out in the printer for checking against the cash, physical cash collected, and all the charges to e-wallet or credit cards. Let's go in now as a manager and see what are the options that we have. Enter the password, manager's password. Same thing, if the manager is not doing any session, you don't put any cash, just put in 0. And then for manager, of course, the manager can also enter orders. You can still call a table, add in items, all these things the manager still can do. Okay, but beside doing this, for example, the order item, let's say at the food, say these are things that manager can do. Add tomatoes, no chili, for example, juices. Manager can do all this stuff. Okay, and manager can also close the bill, pay by card, for example, under Visa, print the receipt, no invoice, settle. Okay, manager can do all this. Now on top of that, manager can do the setting. Very important. The manager sets up to configure how the system is supposed to run. So you come to here, and there you can see the manager can see reports. First thing, let's go from left to right. Reports, you can see how much is the sales done today by individual cashiers and so on. You can choose range of date, how much is the total sales, what are the payment type. You see, you can choose a range of date, from which date to which date. You can do analysis report on the sales of individual item, which will be listed by categories. You can see here. All right, this is a report that manager can do, and can do sessions. You can set out sessions. Each cashier, for example, has certain session. How much did the cashier actually collect in terms of cash, credit cards, QR sales, and so on. So you can check through here. There is a summary report of cashier by cashier, each session handled by the cashier themselves. Again, you can list out all these reports. Now you can also list out all the bills. This is another report on all the bills that happened for the day. So the bill number, how much was the amount, how was it paid, at what date and what time, and which table. See, the bills are all here. You can see, and you can even view the bill. The manager can view the bill. What was the bill? What was the status? Completed? What was the things ordered, and so on. Okay, and the manager even have a power to cancel the bill as well. So these are the three main things that to do. And then if there's any e-invoice submissions which the customer has requested for, the manager also can see, can view the submission. Oh, this particular person was asking for e-invoice, for example. You can actually take that and then ask, and then see the thing. You can view the invoice. If it's already issued as invoice, you can actually you can see the invoice. If it's not, then of course you cannot see. You see, if it's ready, you can say download the invoice, and you can actually see the invoice itself. See the whole invoice, and then you can scan this code, and you go into the LHDN server to obtain, to see the actual entry inside there as well. So you can choose any bill, valid bill, if it's submitted, if it's an invoice, if it's submitted successfully. If it's submitted successfully, they'll ask you to download the e-invoice itself, if it's submitted successfully. Now let's go to the other parts where the manager does the setup. For example, table numbers. Table numbers means, for example, inside your cafe or restaurant, you have got more than new tables. Let's say, for example, table 6. So the manager can actually do this table T06, for example, and then add a table. That becomes a available table. So another table, if it's T07, for example, add the table. So that's how the manager can set up a number of tables that you have in your restaurant or cafe. This is adding tables. Adding sales item. This is what this print this out. Adding new item. For example, your cafe is selling a new item, so you can come here to create new item, put the name of the item. Say for example, it is just coffee, say example lah. So what is the description? Say coffee. And then what is the stock code? You need to have a code, unique code. So each item can have a code. So let's say I just simply put 901. What is the category? So if you belong to drinks, you put drinks. If you belong to coffee, you can put that coffee, for example, and tea. I think there is a group like this. You will create a group. What is the selling price? Okay, do you allow to give discount? Tick yes and no. If you allow, you take it. And then you have to choose an image from a gallery. What kind of image do you want? So let's say, for example, just testing. Let's say this is the image that you want, and that image will be shown in the item when you're about to sell. So then you could create. So what happened now is when you created this item, if you go back to the table, and let's say we simply want to do an order, you can see add items. You see under coffee and tea, you see this particular item will come up. See, that's how you add new items. So all the items you have in a cafe or restaurant that you're selling, you have to go through this process. The manager will set this up. Now if an item has been created wrongly and the manager wants to delete an item, it's very simple. Just scroll down, choose the item that is wrong. For example, this particular one, put the update item, and then at the bottom there is a delete product. Just delete this product and the item is deleted. Okay, next we have item options. What are item options? Item options can be sub options. That means when you sell something, you have got some categories for you to choose, some other things that you can choose. That is called an item option. For example, if you're choosing lamb, whether you want well cooked or medium rare cooked, for example, or steak, so these are considered as option. So let's say if you want to create an option, I can call the option name is like, let's say well done. Let's say well done. Okay, and then because of well done, do you add additional price? Sometimes you put, for example, you want to add ice for drinks. So if you say add ice, then you add ice, I add 50 cents. No ice, no cent. So this one is a means, it's type of cooking, so there's no extra price. And which item do you apply this particular one? So let's say this can be applied to, let's say, roast lamb, for example, right? Then you choose, you create an option. So that is an option. So let's say you create another option. Let's say for option you say no ice. Let's say no ice. Okay, zero price. Select an item. So let's say you only apply this to, for example, Coca-Cola or Sasi or 7-Up. These few things only, no ice you can allow. So you can put it like that, and you create an option. Then maybe you have something add ice. So let's say add ice, and because you want to add ice, I will add 50 cents. Okay, and then you select item, which one you can add ice. Okay, Coca-Cola, Sasi, 7-Up. And then you create an option. So this is how you do create option. Now what happens when you create an option? Let's go to ordering table. Say table 1, add item. You wanted to order, let's say, drinks, Coca-Cola. You see, the option will show no ice, add ice. All right, if the person say I want ice, then you add the 50 cents. So instead of no ice, 4 ringgit. Add ice, you added the 50 cents, add to the table. That's how you do. So let's say order 7-Up, no ice. So no ice means I don't want with ice. So the price still remain the same because there's no adding of price add to the table. So that's how the option works. Now the next setup is regarding payments. What sort of payments do your outlet accept? So of course cash is always there, and then you can add, for example, cards. So maybe you have Amex, Visa, MasterCard. So you want to add a new type of card. Let's say it's J card, for example. You add in J card, add payment type. So J card is now available. Same with the QR code side payment. So maybe you want to add something else, some other e-wallets, for example. Say you want to add Stripe. Let's say STRIPE is type of e-wallet add payment. That's how you set up the payment types. And then this will become available. So let's go back to order table. Table 1 has some food, and I say I want to cashier to pay out. You see, if I choose card, you can see now J card is available. If I choose QR code, you can see Stripe is now available. So that's how you set up the payment types for this type of payments. What type of payments that you have? So let's say this particular pay by Stripe, and then print receipt, and then you settle the bill. Now the next setting is regarding cashiers. The outlet may have multiple cashiers, so you can add cashier. So who are the cashier? This particular cashier can do cancellation, can change price, and then can give discount up to maximum how many percent or maximum amount. So you can do. So if you create a new cashier, for example, there's another new cashier, the name is Mimi. Okay, you assign a password to that particular cashier. Okay, create the user. So under this user, you need to update whether you can give cancellation or change price. If you say only can do cannot change price, you remove this tick, but can give discount. How much discount? You can do an update and then give discount. Okay, maximum discount is 10, for example, percent, or maximum 10 ringgit. Then you update. See, so now this particular cashier can only either cancel bill, allow to cancel bill, or give discount maximum of 10% or 10. So that's how you maintain cashiers. Now the last part is settings. These are overall the settings for the entire system. What is your company name? Who is the person to contact? What is the email of the person to contact in case of problems? What is your SSN number? What is your TIN number? Because for e-invoicing, we require a tax number of the company to be input. If you have SST, what is your SST number? And then what is your SST percentage that is currently being charged? So in the future, if the percentage change, you just come and change this percentage here. And then if there's service charge, how many percent? What is your full address to be printed on the bill? And then these are some of these information are required for submission of e-invoice. Okay, then the state, all right, where is the state located, and then the printer name. Now this system can be operated on any smartphones, okay, or Android device. You can attach this device to a Bluetooth printer. So whenever you print the bill, he will follow and use this particular printer name, which should be your printer, and print the bill from there. So you can also set whether printer mode is always on. That means always default is on or not. If its default is not to print bill, just remove it, because some business you may not want to do straight away into a printing bill option, you see. Then whether service tax will be applied. Tax will be SST will apply to service charge, yes or no. If your policy is service charge no tax, you remove this tick. The current default in Malaysia, I think, is there is no SST charge on service charge, so you can remove this tick. And then whether you want to print the item discount on the bill or not, and then you do an update. So these are the general settings that you need, including the TIN number for e-invoicing submission. Now for the consolidated e-invoice, because this is a B2C business, cafe or restaurant, so when customers do not ask for any e-invoice, like in this case, this one is asking for e-invoice, right? The balance of the invoices that are not submitted as individual e-invoice will need to be consolidated and automatically updated to the LHDN server. So this is done automatically out of the system, because we have provided a website for the customers to key in their individual details. So on that website itself, since this is a cloud-based system, you will know which invoice have not been submitted as individual e-invoice. The system will automatically submit before the 7th of next month the consolidated e-invoice automatically from the cloud server itself.